So before I start this video, I just want to say that this video is for you, so all the media used in this video is used for criticism, review in a transformative way. All the information I present is public information and everything else is alleged, just a joke or my opinion. So this video is going to be about the whole Karmageddon thing, and just like my last video about Karmageddon, it's going to be like a brief run through of everything, but obviously not everything, just the stuff that I didn't have in my last video. So the first thing would be Shane Dawson's apology video called Taking Accountability, which came out 1 hour before I posted my last video on Karmageddon, which is very tasty. So in this video he apologized and took responsibility for some insensitive jokes that he made regarding race and children, and in this video he also had a very all or nothing approach, so it kind of makes the audience feel that no matter how much they hate Shane Dawson or how much they find his previous jokes disgusting, they'll never be able to win because Shane Dawson will always hate himself more than you could ever hate him, and his requested punishment will always be more severe or just as severe as the punishment that you want for him. He also started off the video by saying he was inspired by Jenna Marbles, which a lot of people had an issue with, because why do you need to be inspired to make an apology video about racist and pedophilic jokes that you've made? He mentions the whole Karmageddon 2 situation and Tati and all that stuff, and his post Welcome to the Circus, which is now deleted, and he said that he posted that post very soon after he had restocked his conspiracy palette with Jeffree Star, because he just felt very bad and guilty and didn't feel comfortable with, you know, restocking the palette and still not really speaking out about this. A lot of people had issues with Welcome to the Circus because the way that he spoke about the drama and the way that he talked about Tati and talked about her video was very peculiar. It was very much hyping her up in a very joking way, when in reality a lot of people don't think this is a very jokey kind of situation. And he said in this video that it came off really bad because he was trying to be funny while also trying to express his anger, so it just didn't really work out. He also apologized for and took back his statement about how James deserved a huge slice of humble pie, but he didn't say anything about retracting his statement of how he supported Tati's video and still agreed with a lot of things that Tati said in her video. He said that he doesn't agree with everything that Jeffree does, but they do talk about it in private and that's more of a friendly private issue. And he mentions that he is aware that he holds his friends to a much lower standard than other people, which, like, I want to be okay with that, but like, you can't just be friends with somebody like Jeffree Star just because you've talked to him or like mentioned that you're uncomfortable with the things that he says and does sometimes behind the scenes. Like, that's not helping the issue in any way. Actions speak louder than words, and saying that you are uncomfortable with certain things that Jeffree does but still remaining to be friends with him and still trying to defend him, it just doesn't match up. Especially in a video where you are apologizing for racist jokes and doing blackface and stuff like that. You're apologizing for racist behavior, but you're friends with a racist. So some responses to this video, obviously it was split between people who thought it was quite sincere and people who didn't, and people who were essentially supporting Shane or just saying that they believed that this apology video was good or that it was sincere. They would get backlash from people who would basically say that it was not their apology to accept and that he is very manipulative, and the way that he's done his previous documentaries shows how dramatic he can be. My take on it is that from the comments of people that are supporting Shane, a lot of them weren't accepting apologies on behalf of people. Obviously some of them were, but a lot of them were just saying things like, I personally am okay with supporting you, and that was pretty much it. And I feel like it's the same with Tati's video as well, which I will get onto, but essentially a lot of people were accepting it for themselves but understanding that other people will not. There is a difference between hearing an apology and deciding that you're still willing to support this person, and hearing an apology and trying to accept it on behalf of the people that the apology was for. I do agree with the manipulative argument, but we don't know yet if he is manipulating his viewers. And also he didn't address everything, and he kind of brushed over the pedophilic jokes, which then became a whole thing because the Smith family kind of responded and they were really mad about it. So what I've noticed is that both Jenna Marbles and Shane Dawson's apology are both very heavily reliant on all or nothing thinking, which again puts them in a position where it's like, well, I win because no matter how much you hate me or you want me to suffer, I already hate myself more and I want to suffer as much as you want me to. But it also suggests that other people who do similar things deserve the same punishment, when in reality, like, the punishments aren't for the person to decide. That's the entire point of it. Somebody said, Shane is literally under fire right now and Jeffree is going horseback riding in Montana. He needs to cut his friendship with Jeffree and Trisha if he wants to truly grow and better himself. I'm sure they all have dirt on each other or a contract, at least with Jeffree. And how is Jeffree getting less of a witch hunt than Shane? I did screenshot these specifically because I do want to talk about this whole thing. Why the fuck are we not focusing enough on Jeffree? I know this is like a relatively old video in regards to like how fast paced this drama drama is right now. But then and now, Jeffree isn't getting much backlash at all. I'm not going to try and like compare the things that, why am I holding my phone? I'm not going to try and compare the severity of their actions and past behavior and racist comments and stuff like that, but I do genuinely think that Jeffree deserves to be cancelled a lot more than Shane does. There's also talk about how Morphe dropped Laura Lee after Karmageddon 1 because of her racist past tweets, but not Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. Well, Shane Dawson has actually been kind of affected because his palette is no longer in Morphe stores, but a bunch of Jeffree Star's products are. So for this, I am just going to compare Jeffree Star and Laura Lee's past because I do believe that Jeffree is just worse. He's just worse. So he has regularly used the N-word and allegedly still uses it to this day. He has posed with the Confederate flag. He refused to take pictures with black fans at Warped Tour. He called a black woman a gorilla a couple years ago, said that he wanted to throw battery acid on a black woman to make her skin whiter, and flown a former cop over from Miami to be his personal bodyguard because he thought it was like a cute and quirky and funny thing how he got fired for basically just being racist. So in my last video about this, I talked about how Blaire White had posted a couple things on an Instagram story about Jeffree Star, and she has now come out and made a video where she basically confirmed Jeffree's proof of James being a sexual predator, and she said in her video that this is from a very, very credible source. And the entire video was basically about that and how Jeffree treats very serious stuff like sexual assault allegations as tea and dirt to collect on somebody to blackmail them with. He was also very comfortable telling Blaire this information the first time that they ever interacted. He also offered to play it to FaZe Banks during the Mom's Basement podcast, so he's obviously very comfortable with sharing this story around. She also mentioned how he only really calls her when he needs something, which is a story along a lot of people, but the first reason he had FaceTimed her was because she had just made the video on Darby Vanity where she basically painted Jeffree Star out to be this heroic figure in the story, and then she was considering whether or not to make an entire video about Jeffree Star's involvement in the whole Darby Vanity situation, and then he video called her and basically convinced her not to, or manipulated her not to, I guess. And then as she was posting those things on her Instagram story, he tried to video call her again and she obviously didn't pick up.
If this is real, if this voice note is real, and if this really exists, I cannot imagine one of my friends going around and sharing my personal story, my assault story, with a bunch of other people to the point that it's like common knowledge amongst the YouTube community of who it is and what it is. I can't imagine. It's so despicable to me that a person would do that. Like, it makes me sick to my stomach. And at the same time, there's still this like little voice in the back of your head that's like, Jeffree Star could be making all of this up because he's done like that before. He could be making this whole entire thing up and everybody just really believes that it's credible. If this exists, he's making it even harder for that person to come forward. He's making it even more difficult because of all the bullshit they did last year. Everybody's already heard that James Charles did something and he's now been proven that that didn't happen because nobody ever came forward officially to accuse him of it. So everybody moved on from that. So you think we're gonna go through that again? You're putting this person in a position to literally not be believed. If there is a victim, if that exists, then they have an obligation to come forward. They should be stepping up and speaking their truth. Do you know what you're asking of a person to do that? Do you know what you're asking of a person to come forward and be publicly ridiculed? You are asking a person to speak out against the most subscribed to beauty channel. That's what you're asking a person to do when you're like, oh, they should just tell their story. They have to at this point. No, we're not gonna bully people to relive their trauma. You're either ruining the life of somebody who had to go through something incredibly traumatic, or you're ruining the life of a 21-year-old kid. Either way, Jeffree Star in the middle of all this is the
Now, Tati's video. So in her video, she basically said that she never accused James Charles of being a sexual predator in her Bi Sister video, and she still agrees with pretty much everything that she said in her video. She exposed how Shane Dawson was willing to edit and create a thumbnail for the Bi Sister video, and that Jeffree went around telling people that she was making a video before she had confirmed the idea. She also mentions the well-known fact that Jeffree Star does like to hold a lot of blackmail on people. He will probably release them, so we should all be ready to forgive everyone that he exposes. She talked about the voice memo that Blaire talked about in her video about James Charles and his alleged victim. Again, Blaire said in her video that this was a very credible thing, but Tati said in her video that it was not enough for me to go to the police, but enough to scare me. She also said that before uploading Bi Sister, she had texted Shane because she was scared that James Charles might kill himself after the video, as he was on a very, very high floor, like the 50th something floor of a hotel, and Shane brushed it off saying that he's too narcissistic to jump off. Tati also said that she knew Jeffree wasn't necessarily a good person, but she thought that she could inspire him to become a good person, but in the end she noticed that she couldn't and that she was very, very afraid of him and had to move twice because of him. And she also has no proof for anything that she said in the video because she is apparently going to pursue legal action, so obviously she can't release those receipts if she is. So some responses to that is, well, firstly, Shane Dawson's response, which was wild.
So sure.
Oh, of course. Is that another ad? Another ad. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. This is so fucked. This is, oh my God. Okay. I'm live because I can't even process. I need a drink of water. I can't process this. This is insane. This is insane. This is insane. This woman is a fucking, oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going to wait till as many people get in here as possible because I'm losing my mind. Keep playing it. Keep playing it.
I didn't even know I was making a video. So how is it that so many editorial outlets knew that something was coming before I had...
Because you message drama channels! Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, then why would you make a video on the matter claiming these allegations?
Because she is a fucking... I can't. I don't want to say mean things about people. This is insane. This is insane. This person literally... Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. Keep pressing play. I need to get through this video so I can fucking... Oh my God.
As a victim of abuse myself...
Oh my God. You are so manipulative. You're a fake crying. You are fake crying. You are fake crying. That is not real. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was molested. I have been, oh my God.
Victim.
That is not.
And I made no mention of it in my video.
Oh my God.
Get off.
The night before posting my video by sister,
Oh my God.
I texted Shane sharing my concerns for James Charles, that he was out of the country on the high floor of a hotel and I was afraid for him.
So in the video I just played, you could hear Rylan in the background basically telling Shane to get off the live. And he later tweeted out saying, Tati Westbrook, a masterclass in manipulation. The only was to save her reputation was to side with the person she tried to ruin, make no mistake. This 40-year-old woman chose to put a video on her own accord. She riled up Shane before doing so to have one of the biggest creators backing her in the chance this all backfired. Shane very well could have posted a video exposing James had he felt so inclined. No receipts because she didn't want to expose the countless times she told Shane that she was a big girl doing this only for herself. Not today, motherfuckers. Do not try me right now. I hope you enjoyed all those sold out vitamins that made you millions in minutes from Shane's support, you two-faced liar. So there are some responses and criticisms from the general public, one being that though she didn't necessarily explicitly say that James Charles is a sexual predator in her Bi Sister video, she did very, very heavily imply it. When Jeffree Star came out to say that James Charles is a sexual predator, he didn't just say James is a sexual predator, he said everything Tati said in her video is true, and then went on to say a bunch of stuff that also implied that James was a sexual predator. People also noticed how it's basically history repeating itself because in her first video against James Charles, she provided no receipts but made a whole dramatic deal out of him supporting a different brand that was in direct competition to hers, and she implied that he was a sexual predator. She gave no receipts, and it turns out in the end that we were all going to support James in the end anyway. And now in the second video, she accuses Shane and Jeffree of being essentially like the entire reason that Bi Sister came out, and still provides no proof of anything whatsoever. And the audience is just supposed to believe her after she kind of fucked them over the first time. And I know that she said that it was because of this legal case, but we are also just taking her word for that. We don't actually know it's because of a legal case. We don't even know if she's pursuing a legal case. But there has been a video of Shane Dawson circulating, and it's a video of him and the Psychic Twins where he basically said that he doesn't believe that Marilyn Monroe killed herself because celebrities are too narcissistic to do so, which links directly to what he said or allegedly said about James Charles. So that one kind of like boosts the credibility of Tati's video. However, this next one, she said that Shane texted her that James was too narcissistic to kill himself, but she still went forward and posted that video after Shane made that very disgusting comment. So people also pointed out how she had only ever met Shane Dawson one time, and from that one time she was manipulated and gaslighted enough to film, edit, and upload a video calling James Charles a sexual predator when she already had James's private contact details and could have brought this up to him. And there was also a lot of criticism about how she literally just didn't take responsibility or accountability for literally anything, and she just shifted all the blame of everything that she did to cause this drama onto Jeffree and Shane. It was also weird timing because Bi Sister was a year ago, and it's like she's hitting Shane when he's down because she knows that people will be more inclined to believe her since Shane has been exposed to be not the best person. And in response to her saying that we should just prepare to forgive everyone that Jeffree Star exposes, and a lot of people took issue with that because like, no, we should always hold people accountable to their actions, which I agree with, but I think we just need to remember that Jeffree Star is the reason for pretty much everything that's happening, and that Jeffree Star is the main person to focus on. It was not only Tati, a bunch of other things kind of supported this theory, but people believe that Jeffree Star basically coerced people into saying or doing things that they might not have agreed with originally because they were just so desperate to please him, and just stuff like that, and he like manipulated them into situations where they would say things that they wouldn't normally say. And people, I think, are generally quite aware that he will probably release this information through smaller channels because he doesn't like to get his hands dirty, and he always uses people as pawn to do it for him. I would be prepared to receive all this information from smaller drama channels, especially ones that still support Jeffree Star for some fucking reason. Trisha Paytas's response to Tati's video. She basically uploaded a video called Tati Dumb as Hell. A big deal for a lot of people because it was like the only video that she's ever made where she's like making sense and actually is logical to some extent. She said that Tati needs to stop trying to make it a serious thing against Jeffree and Shane when in reality it's just her being emotional about gummies, and that Tati is a grown woman and she might have been pushed towards making the video, but ultimately she made that decision on her own. Again, she met Shane once and she was somehow manipulated enough to film, edit, and upload a video. She also brought up another point that I just made about she had James Charles's info, and when she heard rumors and allegations about James Charles, who she called her son, she decided to make a video instead of calling him or something. Tati said in her video that she only deleted Bye Sister because YouTube asked her to take the video down, and Trisha Paytas basically said, "That's why you took it down? Bitch, you didn't feel sorry?" She was also very emotional about the situation but couldn't have said a single thing about Black Lives Matter, and cried over literally everything in the video, including things that like didn't necessarily make sense for her to cry about, but she couldn't give two fucks about black people getting killed by police. My response to that is like, yes, but like Black Lives Matter has like nothing to do with this. I totally understand because she's been like completely silent, but now she's crying over this drama all over again, but she couldn't say anything in support of BLM. But I do generally agree with her because like the video did not have to be fucking 40 minutes long when so much of it was just her crying. Like I understand that you want to keep some of those bits in for sympathy, but you do not need that much, because at that point it's not going to garner sympathy, it's going to make us feel fucking annoyed because now we're watching you cry for 10 minutes when we just want to hear something like information. Edit your videos, bro. And some extra stuff about Jeffree Star, not in regards to Tati's video that was mentioned in Trisha's video. She admitted that she came back from the Vegas trip in tears because it wasn't a good time, and the DM that she received from somebody that was there telling her that Jeffree Star was also talking shit about her behind her back kind of confirmed everything, and that just made her feel even worse. And she said that she didn't go to dinner with Jeffree Star during that Vegas trip, so he gave away this expensive bag that he had gifted to her. She found this out because she was looking for a camera which was in the bag, so he had emptied the bag out including her camera and gave it to Rich Lux. And I'm gonna finish this video with a couple of extra stories about Jeffree Star. Two YouTubers called Ma and Shayla had dinner with Jeffree Star, and they were basically talking about things that they wanted to get done in regards to plastic surgery, and Shayla supported Ma when she expressed the desire to get lip fillers, and Jeffree took that and used that to rant online about how Shayla's a body shamer. And so Ma DM'd Jeffree because she took it as just like support and just like a random comment rather than like body shaming and saying that she had like ugly lips or something. But then she started wondering whether or not that was supposed to be the way that it was taken and she was just wrong, and Shayla DM'd Ma apologizing, just saying that she didn't actually mean it that way and she was trying to be supportive, and she wasn't aware that Ma was so upset about the comment that she made when she wasn't, because she didn't originally believe that it was a negative comment. And now people are speculating whether or not Jeffree Star did that to stir up stuff against Shayla because they had already been like in a rocky relationship and they were having problems during that time, and we obviously all know that Jeffree Star likes to use other people to make people's lives that he doesn't like worse, if that made sense. And lastly, I just want to shout out D'Angelo Wallace's video because it's like basically a run through of Jeffree Star's problematic present, so it doesn't include any of the old stuff, but I think it starts at 2017 and he goes from 2017 to 2020 and all the problematic stuff that he's done within that time period. If you like this video or if you liked me, please like and subscribe, and if you didn't like me, make sure to get in contact with my teachers because I bet you'll have a lot in common, and make sure to stay safe and stay hydrated.